Mila was a 21 years old girl who loved challenge and adventure, and she was smart and was lively and had an energetic spirit. She belonged to the Ivanov family, which was a wealthy family consisting of her mother, who was called Olga, a housewife. Further, the latter chose to devote her time to take care of her only daughter. Her father, however, who was named Matthew, liked his work more than anything else. Besides, he was the owner of a travel and tourism company who spends most of his time outside the home, away from his wife and daughter. Therefore, Mila could only see her father a few counted times during the year, as he was always busy in his work. He believed that he provided them with everything they need when he sent them a large sum of money to their bank account every month. In addition, that he run out of all their financial requests. Matthew believed that all what his family needed to live happily was just money. But in reality, both his wife Olga and his daughter Mila needed him, his presence with them, his interest and his affection, because money alone did not buy happiness. Thus, and several times, Mila felt very sad because her father didn't care neither for his studies nor for anything else other than his company, deals, and business projects. Mila had just one friend who was called Galina, and it was a girl at the same age. She lived not far from Mila's house, as she lived in one of the near neighborhoods in the same city. Besides, Mila did not have many friends because she believed that one real and sincere friend would be sufficient for her. Mila lived in Nizhny Novgorod, which is a city in the European part of Russia, and it's located at the confluence of the Oka and Volga rivers. The start of the school year approached, so just like every year, Mila was enthusiastic and eager to return to the university and was waiting impatiently to return. This was because she was tired of the daily routine of staying at home for long periods. As a result, both Mila and Galina decided to go for shopping in order to buy new suitable clothes for college entrance. The two girls spent the day in the shops and the stores, so after they finished buying their needs, they felt hungry. Therefore, they chose a restaurant with beautiful views and ate their lunch there. Moreover, it was the evening when they returned home, tired of being so wandering this day. While Mila was about to reach the house, she remembered that she did not buy what her mother recommended for her, so she returned to buy her mother's needs as well. After Mila reached the perfume store, she got out of her car and headed across the road to the opposite side, but she did not notice the speeding car coming in her direction. Afterwards, she was hit by the car, a slight shock. Fortunately, the driver reduced the car's speed to avoid a violent collision. Then the car owner quickly got out to check on Mila after she fell on the ground. Furthermore, he found that the girl fainted, so he picked her up and put her in the back seat of his car and drove quickly to the hospital. Where did Mila get tested? And fortunately, she didn't have fractures, but only small injuries. The owner of the car was called Vadim, and he did not leave the hospital until Mila woke up, and he reassured her about her health. And also, he advised her to pay attention before crossing the road the next time. After certain hours, Mila returned home, limping somewhat due to those wounds in her legs. At that moment, her mother felt anxious for her, but she reassured her that she was fine and there was no need for fear. Today is the first day at the university this year, and as usual, Mila woke up late in the morning. After she had breakfast, she drove off to the university in her car. Then, when she arrived, she went straight to the exact amphitheater, and she had the school year program. So Mila entered after hearing the teacher's permission. That was the calculus session, and it was her teacher who taught her during the last year. Both Mila and Galina were both studying mathematics in the same class in the Institute of Information Technologies, Mathematics and Mechanics at the university. Moreover, after the morning shift ended, the two girls went to the university restaurant to have lunch. There they heard many girls talking about the arrival of a new professor at the university, describing his toughness and seriousness. At the time, Mila thought he was an old man like most of her teachers. After the two girls finished their food, they went out to the university square, where they were attracted by a luxury BMW car entering the university, from which a handsome young man in his early 30s got out. The university yard was full of students, especially girls, from whom Mila knew that this was the new professor. She was surprised by seeing him again. He was the same person who hit her with his car and took her to the hospital, and his memory remained stuck in her imagination. Vadim was a university professor in mathematics and was 30 years old. He was characterized by being such a strict and serious man while working and doing his job in teaching at the university. Further, he belonged to the Fedorov family, which consisted of his father and mother, in addition to one brother and one sister. He also lived in Nizhny Novgorod. Vadim came to the National Research Lobachevsky State University of Nizhny Novgorod which is a top Russian higher education center, in order to sign the work contract to become a teacher there and to get the timing of his work. Today, Mila was absent from the university and did not attend her classes because her mother felt ill. So she wanted to leave her alone and go. Galina informed Mila that the new professor, Vadim, was their own professor in the subject called modern algebra. The latter, which was very difficult for most students, just as mathematics was in general. Galina also told Mila of the teacher's strict laws concerning not being late in attending his classes, as well as to stay calm in both the amphitheater and the classroom. In addition to that, there must be respect and good behavior. Despite everything her friend had told her, Mila still thought he was the same nice guy who had helped her one day, and she felt something special for him. The next day, Mila got up early, hoping that she would reach the university in time and not be late as usual. Unfortunately, despite her objection, a young man whom she did not know was trying to talk with her. After she refused to speak with him, he held her hand strongly so that they became very close to each other. At that moment, Vadim had arrived to the university and saw that scene in which they seemed to know each other and that they were enjoying their time since the man was holding her hand in such a way. Vadim recognized Mila that she was the same girl that he met about a week ago. At that moment, he was surprised and did not like to see her in the morning of that situation, but he headed straight to the amphitheater to deliver today's lesson. On the other hand, Mila used with all her strength and pushed him away from her. In addition to that, she threatens him that she would talk to the university security guards if he tried to approach her again, or to bother her again. Although she was late, she knocked on the door of the amphitheater. When she wanted to enter, two girls came late as well. So Vadim allowed them to enter, but he ordered Mila to go out loudly. As a result, Mila came out feeling sad and unfair, as she did not understand the reason behind what he did. Mila understood algebra well and took the highest marks in that subject. After many algebra classes had been delivered and during that period, Mila noticed that her professor, Vadim, ignored her interaction with his explanations and answered briefly her questions, but she did not know why he dealt with her in that way. After 2 months had passed, the exams period began, which required revision, memorization, and staying up late. So because Mila was a diligent girl, in addition that this was her last year to graduate, and since she wanted to succeed with highest marks and degrees, she studied hard, exerted great efforts, and tried her best during this period. However, the shock was when Mila received her algebra paper to find out that she had failed. Whereas she thought that she had taken the full mark, so she went directly to Vadim's office to understand what went wrong with her paper, because the exam was very easy. Vadim answered her, saying that he suspected that she had cheated in the exam and did not rely on herself, and he could give her another opportunity to confirm the matter to her. Moreover, it was true that Mila was surprised by her teacher's harsh attitudes towards her and his false doubts of her, but she liked the challenge, so she accepted it. As a result, she repassed the exam in front of him and under his gaze. Vadim was surprised by her answer sheet. She got the full mark, so it looked like he really misconceived the matter and wronged her. At that moment, Vadim realized the mistake he made, so he apologized to Mila by telling her that he misunderstood the situation. In fact, Vadim was ignoring her after he felt attracted to her because he wanted to cross the limits between him and his student. But things were out of his control now. Even though he tried to deny the matter, he now felt that he liked her. This because of the beautiful qualities he saw in her, and thanks to her intelligence and great spirit of challenge, she made him captivated by her. Whereas he decided not to tell her anything, but one day at the suitable moment in order not to disturb her during her final year. On the other side, even though Vadim treated her in a bad way, yet she liked him as well. But rather, no one knows about the feelings and emotions of the other one. Months passed quickly. When the end of the school year approached, Vadim decided to express his love for Mila, as he could no longer hide his feelings anymore. He felt very happy, knowing that she also loved him since a long period of time. Then Vadim asked Mila to be her companion at the graduation party, and she, of course, accepted his offer. During the graduation party, Mila wore a wonderful gray long prom dress that her mother had bought for her, and she looked so beautiful, while Vadim looked charming in his black suit. When the couple entered together to the party, the people who attended were amazed, and Mila's classmates were shocked after they saw that she came with their professor, except Galina, who knew about the matter. Furthermore, what made the guests more surprised was when Vadim asked Mila to marry him in front of everyone. Mila was very happy, so she answered by saying yes.